Good evening. I have changed my seating around a little bit, so we're going to see how this works tonight. So it is almost time. Greetings, my divine light workers. Please hit subscribe, like, and share. Gotta wait just a couple minutes for people to come in. Thank you for those of you that are doing the rewatch. I do appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to watch me, to join this. And it is all about, my name is Janie Daly. I do psychic readings, and I hate saying like psychic readings, like I'm not like the, person on the corner. I shouldn't say it like that. I try to make it as normal as possible because I find I'm a nurse, and I fit into normal society most of the time. Hello, Miss Dawn and Miss Karen. Welcome. Okay, so I'll start the greetings, my divine light workers. So again, hit subscribe, like, and share. So ladies, also, we want our community to grow. Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about psychic versus psychotic. Did you guys want to do the nose breathing real quick? I find like that kind of opens up because none of us breathe right. And to do it, simply you just put here, breathing it out. It is a good deep breaths. Actually, the best way to is like to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Breathing is so important, you guys. Most of the time, people do not breathe correctly. So it's amazing. It just opens your lungs. It gets your circulation going. So we are going to talk about a couple fun things. And if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to put the questions in for me. Tonight, we're going to talk about psychic versus psychotic. There's a huge difference, you guys. Huge. People with psychosis, that's mental illness. And it's horrible. It should never, ever, ever go untreated. So, I'm laughing about this, but I'm not. It's not funny. It's not funny at all. It actually is something that's very serious. Mental illness, it needs to be treated. You need to see a physician, obviously, to get treated for this. Let me tell you the difference. Because I'm going to talk about the clairs. There's 4 clairs to psychic ability. Okay. I always joke around and say, oh, they love when I say, do you see things that aren't there? Well, to me, they're there. Do I hear things? Yeah. I have God dreams. I hear people like talking to me, but more so through my like telepathy. Only in emergency times have I heard where it was like another voice outside of me. Then I heard something, but it was time of emergency. It was like that one time that I was really sick and physicians kept telling me, no, there's nothing wrong with you. But then I had valid pain, and I was crying because I said, dear God, please tell me what is wrong with me. And I heard very clearly, gallbladder, very clearly. And I heard that outside of myself. Like somebody was standing right next to me and yelling that at me. And I can tell you 1000% accurate because it was. So psychic gifts are wonderful and they play off of your 5 senses. It's also known as common sense. Psychic gifts are God-given gifts like your eyes, your ears, your mouth, your nose, your feelings, but it's, again, to this day, I still don't get how they give credit like to the devil for that, but the 5 senses go to God. That makes no sense. That's like saying one side of your body the devil gave you, and the other side was given by God. Because they work together. Both sides of your body, they work with each other. You need one really to have the other. I mean, you don't have to, you can go without the other, but they work together to sing with your senses. Okay, so with the psychic senses too, I always say that's your sixth sense is your cell phone to God. Your sixth sense is your cell phone to people that have passed. You know, I'm going to share something with you that was a client experience. And this came up in my reading last night. And it was amazing. And it's stuff that you can experience as well. But I'm going to do that at the end. Okay, so this is how you get messages. Okay. We're going to like kind of clearly talk about how you get messages. You're psychic. Touching real quick on the psychotic. Psychotic is when you hear voices, whether it's in your head or outside, telling you to do bad things. It's telling you to hurt someone. Then obviously they are not God-given messages. And that's psychosis. So there is a big difference. Psychic messages, loving. Even if they are warning messages, they're loving. Psychotic are not. Psychotic, it does sound like lower level entities that are telling you to do bad things, you know? Okay, so it's called the clairs. The first one is clairvoyance. With clairvoyance, that is clear. Clair means clear seeing. Sorry. Oh my gosh, my neighbor's outside, you guys. Oh my gosh, sorry about that. Okay, so clairvoyance, clear seeing. When you have dreams that are like pictures and they are clear seeing dreams, that they're messages to you. They're messages that you are seeing. A lot of people get a lot of information in dreams. I think it was Steven Spielberg who was getting his images about movies in his dreams. So, yes, pay attention to your dreams. I definitely recommend you doing a dream journal. Because a lot of times you guys too, we always say, oh, well, I'll remember and write it down later, and you forget. And then there's times where when you wake up and you know you had a good, powerful dream, but you can't remember what it is until the day goes on. And then you're like, oh, yeah, I remember I had a dream about blah, blah, blah. So that is clairvoyance. Clairvoyance is visions where you are clearly seeing things in your head, like pictures. I liken it to one of those viewfinders, the little red ones that we had back in my olden days, where you put the little round film in and you clicked it. That's how it is. I see those kind of views. It's like I'm looking through a viewfinder, and I can do that. Please know, I've been doing this my whole life. So for me, it's like opening my eyes, breathing, and everything else. It's a part of me. It's part of who I've become. And it's like this. If somebody said, tomorrow, explain how you use your eyesight, you're not going to be able to. It's kind of hard to sit there and explain like everything. You just do it. It's the same with your psychic ability. It's a part of you, so you just do it. Anyway, so the clairvoyance, clear seeing. Clairaudience, audience, clear hearing. And that's like what I said in the very beginning. Most of the time you will hear the messages in your head. There are other times though, because I worked at one of my offices, and it was funny, that's the office that had Mr. Grump in there. And I had readings to do, and I was at my office. I stayed at my office to do my work because I had a lot of children at home. So it was more quiet, or so I thought, at the office. But you guys, I am in my office upstairs, and it's probably around 9:30, and I am getting ready because I think my session was like at 10 o'clock or something. It was a California session. So it was our time 10. and I'm just getting ready and just relaxing. And I always pray to my client's divine family to show me what I need to talk to them about. But all of a sudden, I hear music. I hear music like the 30s music, right? So I was like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Now, when I heard this, the clairaudience, it was very clear hearing. It was as if somebody had come inside and turned music on. But it's hard to explain because it wasn't as loud, like if that was a regular thing. It's like music in the distance is the best way to describe it. So I went to the top of the steps, and sure enough, it sounded like they were having a party. So I was like, excuse me. Hey, can you guys turn that music down, please? I'm trying to work up here. And they did. And of course, I was like, thank you so much. I'll let you know when I'm done. And yeah, clairaudience is clear hearing. You may hear someone calling your name at times. You will hear music. And you will hear messages. And messages also come across as thoughts. Okay. And again, what you hear is never bad stuff. I mean, unless it's something like, make a left, because of course they feel you're going to have an accident if you go right. That's not bad though. That's directions. Okay. So then we have the clairsentience. It's clairsentience, and that is clear feeling. And with that, that's your gut feelings. Your gut feelings. It's also the hair on the back of your neck stands up, but it's a strong sense of knowing. Like you are feeling it so much, like you feel it within you. And you might even say to somebody, I feel it so strong that I feel it inside of me. I feel it in my belly. I feel it in my chest. I know within that it's right. That is clear feeling. And a lot of people pay attention to your feelings. Pay attention. And then you have the clear cognizance, which is kind of like clear sentience. The clear cognizance, too, these two are very familiar. That's a clear knowing. Again, you just know it. And somebody will say, well, how do you know it? I don't know. I just know it. Did somebody tell you? No, I just know it. Like a lot of people with their psychic abilities, you may just do something and somebody will say, well, how did you know to do that? And you'll say, I don't know. I just know it. I just knew to do it. So that is your psychic senses. And a lot of us have psychic senses like that. We just do things. We don't know why we do it. We just do it. So the gut feelings, you want to listen to all that. I mean, it's crazy to think that like we so much have to see things with our two eyes to actually believe that it's true. It's kind of like falling in love. When you fall in love with somebody, you know it. It's a feeling that you have within that you know it. And then that feeling in the pit of your stomach when you're excited to see that person. That's love. It's I'm thinking of like a story. It was about a child who said, I can't see my heart, but I know my heart is there. So, but I mean, that's still kind of different, but the feelings. So, you guys, those are the 4 clairs. And, think about it. Definitely. Hello, Miss Jeannie. Think about it and think about like you use this stuff every day. So, what stops this and what blocks you is overthinking something. If you're too overthinking, no, because if you notice, I remember being younger and saying, oh no, when I get a thought, my first thought, and then it goes away, that I knew that first thought was accurate. And I would go with that and it was always right. But as soon as I would overthink something, It wasn't. Then I'm overthinking and I'm blocking. And a lot of people block because you put pressure on it. But it's the same thing as like when I say, okay, I ask people, please, please don't say to me, well, I said something to my dad and I said that I needed him to say that to me now. Then you block me or you block the person because that's comparable to testing. And with testing, I am not a good tester because then I'm thinking it could be a zillion things. And you just kind of messed up the reading a little bit because, I mean, don't worry, we get back on track really quickly. We do. But it gets me to overthinking. When if you just let the reading go, let it go, because I guarantee you, your dad will be like, just say this. And mentally, because when I'm listening to you guys with your readings, I'm listening to everything you're saying, but I'm also listening to your divine family. So I'm listening to both parties. But, like, yeah, then the father will be like, just say it. She'll know what you mean. She'll know why you said it. So it's like, okay. And then I'll just come up and say, yeah, your dad showed me a picture of like this big black bird. And then like there's some beads. And that person will be like, oh my gosh. And then they say, before my dad passed, I told him to say something like that, whatever. You get the point. So, yeah, so blocking, emotionally suppressing, because we have been taught to believe that it's evil. It's against God's will. God, why would God be against you using a gift that he gave you? I mean, again, that goes with the eyeballs, your eyes and your ears. You hear bad things and you see bad things, but it doesn't mean you stop using your eyes and you stop listening. No, no, it's a part of you. Like, I can't, as you notice, I'm so passionate about that because it just makes no sense to me. No sense at all. It just doesn't. Um, And then there's a lot of people who always want to be logical. I get it. I am very scientific. I am very, very scientific. But sometimes in matters of love, is there really any logic? And sometimes with the best things in life, the best things that we have, is there really, sometimes there's no logic. Sometimes you just go with your heart and your soul's desire. Doesn't always have to be. Logic's boring. If you live your life on logic, I mean, if that's the case, then you wouldn't drive, because logistics would say, well, if you look at the amount of accidents, da 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 da, then you more than likely will be in an accident. You shouldn't drive a car. So, but you're not going to do that. The things that you like to do, you don't mind logic, which is kind of amazing. Logic doesn't come into play for you if it's something you really like to do. But if it's something you don't understand, no, jump into it. I feel this is the best gift. It is so much fun. It is so, so much fun. I was talking to a group of ladies the other night in CVS, and, we were talking about how the CVS used to be like I think she said a hotel. And she's like, oh my gosh, the doors open and close, lights flicker on and off. Well, as she's telling me that, I feel somebody standing right here, right next to me. Like I could literally feel somebody, like even right now, if you ask somebody to walk up and stand directly behind you, don't touch you, but like this close, you feel them. And it's the nicest feeling. It is. It's the nicest feeling, because there are people there. That's the other thing too. And this is too complex to go into right now, but you got to understand, and you've got to have faith. You've got to have faith, because at the time when it's time to go home, you don't want to be somebody who's so scared. You don't want to be somebody, if you go on a trip, you make your plans, right? You do your lodging, you do your flights, you make your plans. Well, same thing with going home. make your plans. Have your faith. You know, I just don't understand how anybody could believe, like, I couldn't imagine thinking, well, because I remember when I was a kid and I would hear this and it would like scare me because it's like, oh, I don't want my body to be laying in the ground. And then that's what you think. That's horrible. Horrible. When it's like, that's not the truth. And I see it. I see it for myself. I see it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to share this story with you. Okay, so this is a nice one, and it's a true story. Mm. Last night, I did a session for this beautiful, beautiful woman who lost her son. I should say her son transitioned. He left this life to go home. He was young. I believe he was like right out of high school. Um, and he was hit by a train. And, I think was, like arguing with a girlfriend and this and that and just a mess. The point is her son went home. And it was very difficult, obviously. And all of that goes without saying. I mean, you guys know, come on. It just goes without saying. But, and I don't know if I already told this story because I didn't know, like, if I didn't want to repeat it again. But this is one where he had wanted to make appointments to meet with me. But I'm sorry, Ellie. Sorry, people are walking by. Okay. Anyway, so he had been making plans and told his mom that he wanted to meet with me. And they had a psychic party at their house in his room. And I was in the room and I kept saying, whose room is this? Whose room is this? Because it just wasn't registering. The other side, they shroud me completely in protection. Completely. So I was not aware of anything. I was only aware of the people that were there and their stories, their situations. I was completely numbed out to the environment that I was in. So anyway, her son, his name is Zach. Zach was going to come home and try to have a reading with me, after all the ladies finished. But he had to work late, so he couldn't. So I said to his mom, well, I want to call her and make an appointment. Well, that appointment never happened. And when that happens, that means there's a definite destination date. There's a date where Zach was going home. And I wasn't supposed to hinder that because I would have seen it and then I could have prevented, but I wasn't supposed to prevent it. There's some things that are God's plans you don't touch. You leave it. You've got to have faith, you guys. You got to have faith, you follow. I have learned enough that I listen to the messages that I'm told. I definitely, because it's always for the well-being. So, several other young people had passed away, all in about the same age group. And I was getting, oh my gosh, there is a high rate of drug overdose and other people are, as YouTube would say, unaliving themselves. But and just even accidents, okay, with these young people. Accidents that probably could have been prevented, but these brave souls had positions with Archangel Michael. Oh my gosh, I don't want to cry. With Archangel Michael to help to prevent others from going home too early or from doing things that, will hurt them, like if they don't pass, because we do have exit points. We do. So if you happen to, you're in a car wreck and you're at an exit point, you can go home, but you might not. If last minute you decide not to. And the boys, their job is to help people find their joy Find their joy and their happiness. You know, take advantage. You're here for a reason. This is school. This is school. You're here to learn, to grow, and then go. But you guys, that's why, like, the stuff with the politics and everything, you're totally forgetting why you're here. We're supposed to be kind to one another, to love one another. I mean, I feel like one of the biggest lessons lately is people are starting to understand, like, you have an opinion about somebody and why they did something or why they spoke to you a certain way. But then you're finding out, wow, I wasn't right at all. I wish I would have known that that person was going through this. I wouldn't have been so mean. So it is, take some time. So what with different opinions? Who cares? I mean, I know, I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. But ask yourself, all your yelling, screaming, fighting, and hanging up on people, is it helping? Are you going to make a difference by being